one, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
I'm gonna say this loud enough for the people in the back. You know when your life's gonna change? When you stop running back to the things that God is trying to save you from. When you stop pressing rewind on the things that need to be deleted from your life. When you stop hanging on to the things that you know you need to let go of. Let me tell you this, moving on isn't always about knowing where you're going. It's about knowing where you're no longer stand and what you refuse to go back to. Straight up.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
What is up, my beautiful people of YouTube? What is going on this morning? I missed you a whole weekend. Trust me, we're not going to do this very often, okay? I mean, I know it's been we've been doing a little bit more and a little bit more, taking the weekends off. Well, that's, I've had a lot of stuff that I've been working on behind the scenes. So It's taken a lot of time to take care of. So we're gonna be ramming back up. We're gonna be doing our show on the weekends again. Yay! Right? Yay! So we're back in the office. We've been able to be back in the office for some time. Hold on, let me change my background so you guys can see where I'm at. I mean, we had to show receipts this day and age, right? We have to show receipts. So it's been nice. You know, we could have actually been back here, and we're probably still going to go back to the just different areas. I don't like being closed into one area so long. You know, it every day looking at the same thing over and over again. It kind of sucks. Okay, so it's been nice. I've been procrastinating. You know, now that I got a few other, because many people don't realize, you know, prior to the divorce and even after the divorce, I only lived in half of the house, you know, because the other half was always my husband's area and I had my area, and I've been divorced now for some time. I've been separated for well over 2 years. And so now I'm kind of spreading out in the house, and it's been nice, you know, so I realized I have an entire house to live in instead of just one little area. So I've been spreading out, but it's been nice. And of course, I still got some work in here to do. I'm putting up new baseboards all around the office. We're obviously going to be getting a new fan, new swag kit. Everything's kind of reconfigured. I've got everything on one side. I've got the closet. The closet that has been a complete, utter mess is empty. I cleaned it all out. My bookshelf is looking amazing. It's got books on it instead of a bunch of crap. The only problem I have is I still have entirely too much paperwork, but you know, it's the name of the game. If you guys saw all the papers that I had for the Bryan Kohberger case, and this is not even all of it. This is not even all of it. This is the most recent. Like, I've got a stack of papers for this case that go on for days, literally days. So good morning, everybody. It's nice to have you here this beautiful Monday morning. I know many of you guys are either half asleep, can't sleep, or getting ready for work, or fighting with the kids to get up. Okay, I get the problems. I get the real world issues going on in this beautiful Monday morning. Many of our kids are out of school. Some of our kids are still going to school, I believe, but for the most part, our kids are out. I don't know what many of you guys are going to do with your bundles of joy, but they make camps for that, right? And we were in church yesterday, and they're talking about the church camps. And I'm like, you know what? Church needs to have adult camps, adult church camps. I'm sorry. They just need adult church camps, because here's the problem with adults. We have learned not to have fun. Somewhere from childhood to middle school to high school to adulthood, we've managed to ram a rod. We got a stick up our butt. Okay. And it's all adults. Let's be honest. It's all adults. It's not just Bullhorn Betty. It's not just Cool Gamer, right? It's not just Skittles. We all got that stick. We need to remove the stick. And so I think that I think we need a church camp to teach us old folks, right? To teach us old folks how to have fun again, right? Remember back when we were younger, we got in the dirt, got muddy and dirty, and we had so much fun, and Mom was like, dirt, right? And then over the years, we got like that, dirt, right? We don't even make mud pies anymore. We don't even know how to dirty the bottom of our britches anymore. That's the problem that us adults are having this day and age. We need to learn to let go and have fun. If our beloved Turkey Man is in the chat, I sent you a text message. I need your email. I got your video. And so I need a way of sending it, and I don't have a way of sending it. And my 1.5 minute little intro ended up being 7.5 minutes. I am a talker. If you guys haven't noticed, Bullhorn Betty is a talker. Just in case. I mean, I don't want to shock anybody. I don't want anybody having heart palpitations this early in the morning. I'm a talker. Good morning, Stacy. It's nice to see you this bright, early Monday morning, followed by Skittles. It's nice to see you. I am Team Summer. Everybody in the chat right now. We already have 106 people here. Virtual hugs to all. Virtual hugs to all. Cool Gamer, it's nice to see you. Jamie Lynn, also nice to see you as well. Net L, Vape King is in the house. Sheila, Southern Grammy Wolf, nice to see you. I hope you're feeling better today. Southern Grammy, I know you've been having a lot. I've been praying for you. I've been praying for everybody. We've got Cranky Pants in the house. And as we always wonder, we want to know she really is in Cranky Pants today, right? Because even Cranky Pants have happy days. Happy Cranky Pant Day. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. C12, I see you. Well, lovely. So lovely to see you here bright and early. I'm not dead, by the way. I'm not going to give credit to this animal. Yeah, somebody that literally needed the clicks and views. Listen to this. Decides to say that I am dead and put it on members only to force people to go over there and sign up for membership. That is not the most grifting thing I have ever heard in my life. If people want to know what grifting looks like, that's what grifting looks like, okay? It's petty swindling for money. And that was petty swindling for money of unwitting people, right? I'm not even in Tennessee, and any idiot that watches that garbage is just that, an idiot. I hope you guys didn't become idiots. I was an idiot for a couple seconds, and I'm like, I gotta put this down. So I'm alive. I'm in the flesh. I haven't been to Tennessee in quite some time. I don't drive around drinking and driving. So I don't know where they came up with this, but I do know that he is a drug addict and obviously was needing some money, to say the least, need some money. Marissa called and Justice for All called, but I'm in between two phones. So I didn't get their message. They were probably either one, knew I was fine and just trying to tell me what was going on, or they were really concerned for my safety. And I probably scared the crap out of them because I didn't answer the phone and didn't even realize they even called until yesterday, of all things. So I called Marissa back. Marissa's probably, oh, fuck Betty. Excuse my language. So I left her a message. I haven't called Justice for All back. I need to call Justice back. I haven't talked to Justice for a little minute. But no, you're not seeing a ghost, okay, guys? You guys are not, you don't have it, okay? I'm not a ghost. You're not seeing images. You're not psychic, okay? I'm in the flesh. Just in case you didn't know. Joyce, it's nice to see you. But, and I tell you, all these hate channels, they don't try to tell you truth. They never have. They never will. It's all about lies and how they can manipulate their audience and incite their audience. And that really is truly, but this one wasn't even to incite or whatever. It was just to make money off of a bunk, untrue lie. Like if I would have paid a monthly fee to watch a lie, I would have unsubscribed and never went back. So, it might be an option. I don't know. I'll let y'all handle y'all's business, how y'all handle y'all business. I know how I handle mine. Nani, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Wild Angels Bucket List Adventures. Good to see you. We all have that bucket list. I don't even know what's on my bucket list anymore. It's changed so much over the years. I really don't know what is even on there. Angie, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Princess Mega, Elsa, Lex, it's nice to see you. In my opinion, no correspondence between the two. I agree with you. But it's an article, like, people are like, why? What is the connection? It's like, yeah, why don't you play the video instead of coming here and asking stupid questions? I don't believe that. Like, this person's like, what's the difference? It's an article. If you would have played the video, you would have seen it's an article written. It's not one that Bullhorn Betty wrote. It's one that Bullhorn Betty's talking about. But I agree with you, Lex. I don't think it. I do agree that he probably, I think the crux of the article was that they believe that there was an attempt to reach out to BTK by Bryan Kohberger. And I had to, you know what, when you're looking at that attempt factor and the fact that he did, and if anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, it's Lex's comment. But you know, I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I'm going through the article. We're going to play it here in just a second and get your feelings, thoughts, and everything else on the article. But if it comes down to him attempting to make contact, which it kind of is what I'm thinking that BTK's daughter is basically alleging, is that there was most likely an attempt that Bryan Kohberger may have attempted to, whether successful or unsuccessful, to reach out to BTK, that maybe that's the whole reason why he chose to even get trained under Dr. or Professor Ramsland, Catherine Ramsland, to get close to BTK or to learn about BTK. Maybe there was an infatuation. We know that early on in his younger years, he had an infatuation with, what was it, Danny Rawling? Is that it? Rolling or something like that? The one that was that inspired the Scream series that we learned, that we watched. You know, Scream. We have Scream 1 or Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4. I think it was like Scream 5. I think the brand's like 4 or 5 different Screams, and I think they're making a new one. And so he has this infatuation with serial killers. But his younger years wasn't the BTK, but I think he was inspired by BTK by being in Catherine's class. And if we're looking at it from the lens of could he have tried or attempted to make contact with BTK, I think that that's more probable. I don't think, because BTK's, well, I don't trust BTK. I think he's a smart man. I think that he tells what will be found. I think he still has a lot. Like, there's 2 other people that they're bringing up that he may have had, may have been the killer for these 2 cases, one in 1976 and one in 1990. Now, his daughter acknowledges that she doesn't think that he had anything to do with that. And BTK has come on the record and spoke to Fox Digital Media, Fox News Digital, and basically stated that he has not spoken with Bryan Kohberger. Well, maybe he has and doesn't know it. There's a lot of ways when you receive letters, you really don't know who the author is. Could he have used a pseudonym? Could he have not signed at all? Are they looking for any paperwork or any letters that were handwritten where they can say that Bryan Kohberger wrote those? I mean, his cell was tossed. His cell was tossed. Stacy, nice to see you. I think I already said hi. Amy Danielle, I haven't been able to say hi to you in some time. It's nice to see you here this morning. Good morning. Mike Stevens in the house, our resident not guilty. Resident not guilty. I love it. I'm about posting this, and Mike makes the comment, well, you know what? I believe he's 100% not guilty for the 1976 cheerleader murder. I think so too. I don't even think he was old enough to hold a knife at the time. Just saying. I don't know. Good morning. Let me just go through here and see if I can pop, because we're going to go ahead and get started here. I just want to see if there's an Allie. Good morning. Molly B. Brown, Uptown. Nice to see you, Miss Stacy. Great to have you over here this morning. The real me too. Good morning. M&M Racing. Love to see you in the house. Love seeing you in the house. Karen Davis. Nice to see you, love. I hope everything's going well for you across the pond. Definitely nice to have you here. Kayla, good morning. And as I'm going through this, my eyes are starting to get blurry. Literally, as I'm sitting here going through it, I can feel them starting to blur up. Kind of sucks a little bit. I hate aging. I'm not old. None of us are. We're all 21 and counting, okay? We're 21 and counting. We got a long life ahead of us, right? All right. Good morning, guys. So, the topic of conversation here is really Bryan Kohberger. I know I put kind of the thumbnail. It's just because I didn't feel like designing a new thumbnail. The thumbnail I thought was it was okay. I just changed the colors of it, which I do occasionally. And this is going to be kind of bouncing off the video that we did yesterday. I also have something else that I really want to talk to. There's a few cases in here that I want to talk to you guys about. We're going to go over a few topics, but we're going to jump right in to the Bryan Kohberger stuff and put those other topics at the end of the show. I always put the other topics at the beginning of the show because I want people to pay attention and listen to the other stuff and not just get their information and go on with their day. But because I haven't been online, every single day like I'm accustomed to, which we're going to be putting that back. We're going to get back on where we're coming online. I may not be doing a 2-hour show on the weekend and may parse it down to 1 hour. I may decide to do 3 hours. I don't know. I know that we have a lot of stuff going on the weekend that we're not touching. And then when we come in here on Monday, it's just like we're vomiting a whole bunch of information, a lot of the stuff you've already heard. So we'll start getting back into the swing of things. I'm not even sure of the timing, but we're definitely going to continue our church service on Sunday. We're going to continue to build that. I just feel I feel good when I go there. I love seeing friendly faces. I love seeing our people in the chat, praising God, worshiping, testifying. There's some people that have been harboring stuff, keeping things on their chest when suffering or struggling silently. Some people they didn't tell all their business in the chat, but they're just saying, hey, I'm struggling today and I could use prayers. And it was nice because we were able to pray for that person. And of course I pray for everybody. I even pray for the haters out there because I truly believe they need God. And, I try to live in a way now in my life that I can show people that you can have, you can go through a lot of horrible stuff and still make it to the other side and still get to that light at the end of the tunnel. And that you can change your life. All you need to do is wake up one day and decide that you don't want to live the way you're living, and literally put stuff in action where you can have something a lot bigger and a lot better than you ever could have imagined. That is the story of me. I had a lot of problems when I was younger. It wasn't my fault. I dealt with a lot, lived through a lot at a young age. I had a lot of violence and brutality in my home. It doesn't mean that it happened every single day. There was a lot of good that I lived through, but there was a lot of bad that I lived through that really screwed with my head. I wanted the attention of people. I needed that attention. And sometimes I think I still go back to that place. I find myself attaching to unhealthy things, whether it be candy, right? You find yourself, so there's still a lot of work. I don't know if I'll ever be over the work necessary to continue my lifestyle that I have today. It's always learning. And anybody that I talk to on a daily basis, the one thing I ever give them, the one piece of advice I always give people is never stop learning. Never stop learning. You're never too old to learn something new. Never be that, can't teach an old dog new tricks type of person. Always be open-minded. Always be willing to learn. Always be willing to listen. And, that really has helped me. It's helped me garner a lot of experiences over my years, from working on cars to putting in fans to jacking up floors and fixing plumbing. I mean, these are things that not many of you guys have the knowledge of being able to do yourself. You have to call handymen or plumbers and everything else, So I find that I am gifted. I find that I have abilities that a lot of people don't have. And I'm very blessed with that. I'm very blessed to have learned all the stuff that I've learned over the years. But I never stop learning. Every day I come in here, I learn something new. And it's amazing. So I hope you guys do, continue to learn throughout your adulting, right? And never forget to have fun. That's one of the things that I've had a lot of problems with, that I've struggled myself, is not taking life too seriously, not taking myself too seriously, and learning to let go and have fun. And that's been a real struggle for me, because I worry, I get scared. I'm not the type of person that can go and just have fun. There's a lot of things that go on in my world that I've got to be very, very careful from because of my lifestyle previously, and making sure that I never go back to that lifestyle previously. So it's, you have to live within your means. And that doesn't mean just financially, right? That doesn't mean financially. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and just go over our language of letting go. For those that are just joining this channel for the first time, we have this meditation book that we go over on this show before we get into all the of society. And June 5th says, you don't have to exert that much control. Hey, killer, how about relaxing the old death grip there? Why did he always say that? Probably because I always got nervous and held the yoke too tight. Rob, my flight instructor, was teaching me basic maneuvers in the little Cessna 172 trainer again. He wanted me to push the plane into a steep turn. The only problem was every time I tried, I felt like the little plane would fall out of the sky. I know, it's crazy, but knowing didn't help my feeling very much. Here, watch this. I have the control, Rob said. Taking the control, my instructor put the plane in a sharp banking turn. Then he let go of the yoke. Ah, I yelled. More like, ah, right? Nothing happened. The little plane kept turning and no further input from anyone. You see, Rob explained, when you have, let me go back to the page. I turned it right at the wrong time. When you have the trim setting adjusted right, the plane will do what you tell it to do. There's no need to force it. Now relax and try again. I did, and the turn was better this time. Maybe the plane wouldn't fall out of the sky after all. And another small piece of the puzzle got filled in. There are many things we can do to keep our lives on course. We can talk to our mentors and sponsors, read positive books, i.e. the language of letting go, attend support groups like the Bullhorn Betty channel, right? Listen to positive music, pray, meditate, work a recovery program if you're in one, and grow. We don't want to become complacent. Safety consciousness is important. Once we have set ourselves on a course, it's not necessary to constantly worry about falling out of the sky. Set your plan in motion, get on the right track, but remember that if saving your life is important, it's also important to have a life worth saving. Relax a little. The plane will keep on flying as long as you've got the right input. God grant me the grace to relax, let go of my worry and self-doubt, and to let myself enjoy life and the experience that life has to offer. So I hope somebody got something out of that. Now we're going to get on to the Bryan Kohberger stuff. So what are we talking about? What in the world are we talking about? BTK. Okay, here's the article. I'm going to play it. It's a 9-minute clip. If you guys haven't watched it, many of you probably have. I know. Boring, right? We're going to watch it anyways. Be bored. Here we go.
Good morning, all. Bullhorn Betty here. It's great to see you this beautiful Sunday morning. I hope you are having a wonderful time with you and your family. I just wanted to get on here just for a few minutes just to talk about the Bryan Kohberger case and some updates, some interesting updates in this matter. If you don't know who Bryan Kohberger is accused of killing Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogan, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho on November 13th in the early morning hours. They believe anywhere between 4 and 4:20 in the morning when they were killed. This is an article. Many of us know that Bryan Kohberger was trained at DeSales University under Professor Catherine Ramsland, which was the famed author that covered BTK extensively. Now they're saying that there is links between BTK and Bryan Kohberger. In addition to that, they're investigating BTK on 2 additional unsolved homicides, one from 1976 of a cheerleader and one from 1990. Check this article out and let me know your thoughts. Hey guys, so here's a case. This is related to BTK. It's from the Sun. I have to be honest with you, I'm not very...
If you guys don't know anything about me, I am not a Sun person. I don't like the Sun. I'm not really the Sun type of gal. And here's why. The Sun basically, I mean, they do have some staff writers on hand, but most of their articles they purchase from people like me, freelance journalists that write articles about these things. They send them over to the Sun. The Sun purchased those articles from them. So you're at the mercy of that independent journalist's reputation, their research. They don't really verify any kind of sources or anything. And the reason why I know this is because the Sun, which at first I thought was just any other news organization. Oh, sorry, sweetie pie. Yeah, you might want to go. A lot of that has, you might want to go out, not now because we're on a 20-minute, you have to be a subscriber for 20 minutes in order to comment. But when this live ends, go out there and either unsubscribe and resubscribe or just change your notification bell. I found like in all of my stuff, I don't know why this happens. And I think it's because I don't go to these pages or watch their YouTube channels. I mean, you guys are on like Sweetie Pie's on here every day, but I don't go to these. But I noticed that every one of my notification bells were turned off. I have no notifications whatsoever coming in for YouTube. I don't know what it is. So you may just have to change your bell to all. So and that's something you can do while you're on here. If you want to just go out there and move your bell, I always put it to none, let it register as none, and then I put it back to all. And it usually re-triggers those, and then you can still chat here. You don't have to unsubscribe and resubscribe and wait 20 minutes. Just change that bell. Typically that triggers it, but who knows? For all that are on the replay crew, if you're having notification issues, please don't forget to go out there and check your notifications. Make sure that you have the Bullhorn Betty channel set to all, because we utilize YouTube. So it's not just the lives. We do videos. This is one of them. And we do also posts of other people. Don't forget, if you guys would like to, Covenant Baptist Church is our beloved turkey man that comes here and worships with us and prays over our channel often, just like, excuse me, just like Ricky Beavers. I miss Ricky Beavers. I haven't seen him in a while. Hopefully he's watching. If you're watching, Ricky, we love you and miss you. Let's just get back on here, but I wanted to go on a little tangent and tell you guys, and I know if you've watched me for any significant time, you know my opinion of the Sun. And the reason why I got on a tangent, the reason why is because of the Bryan Laundrie case, when the Sun came out and said that they had another apartment and that they saw Roberta Laundrie in one of the photos of their MLS listing. We went there and actually knocked on the door, spoke to the person. It was still the same person in that MLS listing, blonde hair, tattoo on her arms. And guess what? She wasn't Roberta Laundrie. She was a tenant that had been there for 15 years. And this was, and they had just sold that apartment or that condo. And this was her third landlord since she had been there for 15 years. She rented the place for 15 years. She basically could have owned it by now, but she's rented it for 15 years. But we had an opportunity to talk to her, and the lady actually spoke with us. She, and not just a little conversation. I mean, we spoke for a good 15 or 20 minutes about the entire situation. She even gave us the company that handles her lease, because an owner owns it, but has a management company that deals with the tenant and the lease and making sure everything is running fine. So that's the reason why I don't like the Sun, is because they had this absolute article that was just a lie. The entire article was unfounded, the entire article. And so that's when I started having a sour taste in my mouth about the Sun. And I looked into the Sun and I realized they're not really, they rely on people, independent journalists. They don't have really a whole lot of staff journalists that write for them. So the person that wrote this, I don't think works for the Sun. It's just an independent a freelance journalist. So let me just keep going. Oops.
Comfortable with the Sun. They purchase articles from people that just write them. They don't really check their sources and things of that nature. But for this particular case, and since BTK's daughter actually spoke in it, I thought it was a little interesting. So this is a new probe into BTK, which they're saying is connected to Bryan Kohberger. It's for a cheerleader from many, 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 many years ago that they're trying to connect now to BTK. So I thought this was interesting since Bryan Kohberger did, study under the famed author Rumsland, that studied BTK extensively, worked on his autobiography. And with Bryan Kohberger being in her class, it's possible that he has tried to make contact with BTK specifically. So that's what this article is about. So I'm just going to read it. New probe, BTK serial killer linked to Bryan Kohberger case has prison cell searched by cops as new cold case investigation opens. Prison officials have reportedly overturned the cell of infamous in-prison serial killer Dennis Rader as investigators have reopened a nearly 50-year-old cold case and may have connected him to the accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger. The daughter of Rader, known as BTK, killer for how he bound, tortured, and killed his victims, i.e. BTK, bound, torture, kill, believes he has been in contact with Kohberger, which is 28 years old, and there he is, not a good-looking guy whatsoever, real creep, but in all fairness, did look normal at one time. However, investigators are more interested in his connection to this death of the 16-year-old cheerleader from 1976. BTK linked to Kohberger. Kohberger, 28, was charged with the murders of the University of Idaho students Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Logan, Kaylee Gonzalez, who were fatally stabbed November 13th in the early morning hours in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho. It is very common for people in the public, or criminology students especially, to correspond with my father via letters and sometimes talk to him on the phone. This is from Rader's daughter, Carrie Rawson. She recently posted some of my documents that I acquired on her Twitter page. Other than this, the pair were also sought by and worked with the same serial killer expert. Kohberger received his master's degree in criminal justice at DeSales University, where the student of forensic psychology, there was a professor, Kathleen Ramsland, a known expert in serial killers who has wrote several books. Ramsland worked with Rader on his autobiography, as I said earlier in this article. Since Dr. Ramsland had a long-term academic relationship, an intimate relationship with my father, and a personal relationship, I wouldn't be surprised if Kohberger at least tried to contact my father or had contact.
There it is. That was the crux of it. I think what BTK's daughter was trying to allege to people is that, he most likely did try or attempt to, or even approach his teacher about, potentially speaking to BTK. And I do believe that to be true. I think he did. I think he was searching for people like him. I think he was searching for answers. I think that's what inspired him to reach out to Reddit users, criminal Reddit users, and ask them a laundry list of questions. Roll to the tide. Nice to see you. So I do believe that he may have made an attempt. I mean, let's think about it. If everything is true that was in that Dateline segment, which, I still believe a lot of it, but there's still a lot that's been unfounded, that we're taking a lot of truth for that one news guy. What was his name? Keith, Morrison. That's it. Good morning, Sonia. Nice to see you. Just Samantha, good morning. Can you imagine for a millisecond if the kid is innocent and the lies the media has spun about him? Yeah, but it's not really the media that's spinning these lies. It's the affidavit of probable cause that put him under the gun. It was his arrest that put him under the gun. And not for a split second do I believe that he's innocent. And I'm sure Just Samantha is just putting the talking point out there because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Just Samantha, you if I'm, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But I believe you believe that Bryan Kohberger is guilty of this crime. I'm sure you're like everybody else. You want to hear the evidence against him. I mean, honestly, I do too. I my opinions are based upon what we've been able to read so far, and based upon what I've been able to read so far, yes, I do believe that Bryan Kohberger is responsible for the crime. Nice to see you, Tip It Back. It's nice to see you here. But would he really tell his daughter or anyone? Sometimes they don't tell any of their victims in hopes that they something later on. And that's what I was saying with BTK. He's come out and said that he hasn't spoke to Bryan Kohberger. Do we really want to believe him? Because I believe that he has more victims that he's never told law enforcement about. I do. I think BTK has a lot more victims that he did not come clean about. And this, even though his daughter does not believe that he is responsible for the two that were in this Sun article, because she says it didn't go with his motive of stalking, breaking into the house, taking trophies, that type of thing, that's why she doesn't believe that her father is associated with this. It breaks my heart that she is now under fire. She's got trolls because she's been speaking up and talking about her experience. Now, granted, this is an experience nobody else has, right? Except the children and or families of these types of killers. Nobody has this experience. And she's coming out to talk about her experience, but it can't just be to help, right? It can't just be to help. It's got to have some nefarious reason for it from these idiots out here on social media that just can't stand. I swear to God, if you have any attention, they want to attack you. If you have anything to help anybody, they want to attack you. They want to destroy you. They want to take your voice. They want to shut you down. It's just, and I feel bad. I wrote her this morning and I said, don't let them get to you. Just stay true to yourself and drown out the noise. And that's always been my advice to anybody, is just stay focused. You do you. These people are going to come out of the woodwork because you're getting attention and they're not, because they're narcissists and they just don't understand how somebody can get attention and how anybody would want to help without having to get paid for it, right? Like, this lady's not getting paid and she's going through all this crap when she's just trying to help families. And so, I have no respect for people that attack people on here. I have none. Especially people that are trying to help criminals. I don't care about. You want to go attack them? You want to talk about them? Go talk about them. These felons that want to come and help these criminals, garbage. Stay in the gutter where you belong. Stay in your lane. All these people talking about their true crimes, no, they're not. They sit on their channel and complain. That's all they do. They're not true crime people. They're not talking about these cases. They're not wanting to inspire people to look. They're not wanting to help these cases. All they're wanting to do is complain about somebody. That's it. That's it. Here, we've got a lot of information, and I'm very upset, again, that this poor woman that has gone through so much is having to endure even more harassment from idiots that have no idea what it's like to walk in her shoes. None. But because they feel that she's just getting attention, let's go attack her because they think it's got to be true, right? She's got to be doing this for attention. I mean, she can't be just doing it to explain what she went through. This can't be some type of therapy for her to let a lot of this stuff out. She's got to be doing it for attention. Sit down, you animals. Leave this lady alone. Leave this lady alone. If you haven't been through it, don't talk about it. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. None of us do. The only experience that, and I like hearing from her because she's giving us an insight that none of us have. Literally, none of us have that insight. And can you imagine being a child of a man like that? Somebody that you call dad? Do you get it? Like, these idiots out there. Don't support these idiots that do this nonsense. So I've been going through here. Here's some of the stuff that I found very interesting. So many of you guys know that we actually went over a lot of the documents. We had like a 4-hour live and went over all the new documents that were coming in on the Bryan Kohberger case. This is what I love the most about it, is that we got a few creators had gotten some videos out about them, but they were like one-offs. So they picked up, let's say, like the AT&T and just discussed that. We went through all of these documents. I went through them, highlighted them. Here they are right here. These ones right here. That big stack of papers we went through. I think it was Friday. Was it Friday? I'm just getting likes for everybody. Oh, thank you, Lisa. It's nice to see you here. So we went through all of these documents, but mainstream media hadn't, got their legal professionals on, their, Sarah attorneys and, FBI agents like Jennifer Coffindaffer, so there was a lot. Good morning, Robin. It's nice to see you. Carrie is an amazing advocate for perpetrators of family. Yes, I know. And it's so sad that she's under attack. And it's just, these people are idiots. Like, they actually think that nobody has a right to be on social media and speak. If they don't want them to talk, they go in and sit down. If you want dictatorship, you're in the wrong country. You're in the wrong country. Pack your bags. You're in the wrong place. There's a lot of places for you, but America ain't the one. It just isn't. But I liked it because when I break this stuff down, and of course we have, a lot of haters that try to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm just the answerer of phone calls at our lawyer's office. You're going to see how great I do my work. I'm very, very good at what I do, believe it or not. And so whenever I break it down, you expect the hate channels to say, oh, Betty didn't know what she's talking about. Betty got this wrong, Betty. I didn't. When we started hearing mainstream media and bringing the attorneys out, bringing the FBI agents out to discuss these things, guess what? We were spot on. We were literally spot on when we were going through this. The stuff that we were pointing out, pointing out the dates, pointing out that Bryan Kohberger was on this particular document, but not on this particular document. What does that mean? We broke it down pretty thoroughly and pretty good. And then when I hear the professionals, because we're just armchair detectives over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, don't have any education. Remember that. We're dumb as a box of rocks, right? And then we start hearing them breaking it down. And it's like, I almost wanted to write and say, we already broke it down on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Thank you for confirming our information to be true and correct, right? So, good morning, Jennifer. Official Nikki, it's nice to see you. So it was really good. I kind of felt good for myself. I always wanted, I kind of felt like, hey, I mean, but it's like, I know this stuff, but because we get beat up so much here on YouTube, which we shouldn't. I mean, we're just talking about cases here. But it was nice, and it must make them really upset when I come out and then hours later we have like News Nation and they're basically mimicking everything I said. It's just, it makes me feel good. And I'm going to say it. I feel good when things like that happen, because you can't sit here and beat up Betty when you have the whole freaking News Nation, ABC, Fox News saying the same exact thing that Bullhorn Betty said an hour before, So, and that's the way it was. We went on our live. We did a 4-hour live. About 2 hours into our live, some of these news started coming out. Some of these videos started coming out and being posted on Twitter and social media. So it was good. I think even though Idaho doesn't have an insanity plea, that his mental health is going to come into play. It will. And it has. Like, look at, remember Michael Vaughn, right? And the whole situation with the Wandras. That, even though they do not have an insanity plea, look at how they were able to jack her entire case up. They ended up dropping it because apparently they didn't have enough evidence or, something. They ended up dropping the whole failing to report a crime. They believe that they have the right person according to the sentiments of the chief of police out there, that they do. They're eyeballing the right people. They just don't have the case yet. Something happened. He was moved. And she was jacked up in the state hospital for, 60 or 90 days or something like that. So, yeah, I do believe his mentality. I think you're absolutely right, Just Samantha. I think in any of these types of cases, you would want to look at that because we do believe there is something not right with him. There can't be. He's not a normal person. I think we can. And here's what. Kind of getting onto this, which I'm got to go on a tangent here. I'm going to go on a tangent here. And here's why. I didn't realize Sleuthy Goosey. I like Sleuthy Goosey. I know that there's a lot of disdain for Bullhorn Betty because of the mess that the trolls did, the lies and everything else. You can't figure out what's fact or truth or fact or fiction when it comes to me because of what they've done, which is going to end up being a problem for them. But either way, I don't know how she feels about me. She talks to me on Twitter through some of the conversations, but she's got a YouTube page. And so she went through this. There was an interview with a guy. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm not going to, if you guys want to watch it, go to Sleuthy's YouTube page. She's new on YouTube. She needs to build up her, and she's doing it very well anyways. But there was one that had an interview to it. Hold on, let me get up here. And we're only going to play a segment of this. I'm only going to play a very small segment of this because this is really bothering me. This is really bothering me about this one guy. I don't know who this guy is. But he seems like, and you want to talk about somebody that wants, and I don't like throwing this out because he's trying to give, but that wants attention. I don't even know if this guy was friends with Bryan Kohberger. I can tell you that there was only a small group of people that liked Bryan Kohberger growing up. Small group of people. It was like one girl or two girls and like two guys. And this guy, now everybody that we have talked to, and he's trying to say, well, Bryan wasn't like that back in school. Bryan wasn't like that at this point in time. This is what people are now saying. Of course, they're going to now say this or now say that. But here's a portion of it.
You did like a weight transformation in high school. I remember lost a lot of weight, gained confidence, got girlfriends, was talking to girls, interactive.
Violent impulses that he has,
Now, I don't believe this lady. I don't really care for this lady here. This lady's kind of like a conspiracy. She's off the rails. This lady that's on your thing talking about Bryan Kohberger being an incel and all this stuff. This lady doesn't know. It's one of these things where you hear all these experts, and then when the truth comes out, you realize very early on that these people, these experts that like News Nation brought up are so full of crap. It's not even funny. I never liked this. When this particular article first came out, I didn't like this lady then. I didn't like the whole incel. They're jumping to way too many conclusions and at this point, there was not enough facts to even get to that conclusion. But she's going on this whole incel situation, but that's not really what I'm here for. I want to hear from this guy. And this guy seems to be really twisted and bent on the facts about Bryan Kohberger.
Do exactly what he did and how he did it, but it just doesn't add up to the person I went to school with.
He was the only person out of all these people, this guy that they call Chris from high school. And he seems like a jock. He seems like a pompous jock. He seems like just my opinion of his speech patterns, how he spoke, how he spoke about Bryan. It seems like he was disconnected. It seems like he may have been the one pushing for Bryan to lose all this weight, to start kickboxing, all this other stuff. He seems like a jock. This would seem like he's getting girls. Well, that's kind of funny. What girls? Because so far, out of all these hot women that he had in his life, we could only find 2, and they are far from being hot. No offense to the ladies at all, but they're not, Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez. Let's be honest, right? It's no ding to what they look like or anything else, but let's be honest, they're not 10s. They're at best maybe 4 or 5s. Okay, I'm not a 10. I'm at best a 6 or 7, right? I know my place. I know my place, right? So, but it just seemed like this guy, out of everything we've learned about Bryan Kohberger, is the outlier. He's the outlier. So I don't really believe. If you guys want to watch that entire video, go over and check her out. Don't forget to sub up. She's already got 7,000 subscribers, and I don't think she's even been on very long to YouTube. I think she's just now breaking into this new market. Let's see how long she's been on here. Well, she's had her account since 2018, but I don't think she's really done anything, because even now she's only done about 6 videos, and the first one was 8 months ago. It looks like she did stuff 8 months ago and then never did anything on this account again. And then all of a sudden, about a month or so ago, she started talking about Stephen Smith, and then she started making some videos about Kylie Rodney, and then of course the Bryan Kohberger stuff. So she's a Twitter person, and just like I used to be a TikTok person, and now what, I went back to TikTok. I'm starting to throw some videos back up on my TikTok account, because I got a lot of followers that I kind of left, and as I was building this channel on YouTube, it takes a lot of work to do so, to get to where I'm at today. It takes a massive amount of work. We have a lot of creators that are in our chat that can tell you how hard it is to build a channel and make it successful. It's very hard. This is a hard market to break into, and to make anything of yourself, it's very difficult. That's why I always try to stay focused on the cases and not do anything stupid that would ever jeopardize my channel. Oh, thank you, sweetie pie. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. So I don't know how I feel about that guy, but I feel like he's the outlier. I feel like he's the one that's deluded about who Bryan Kohberger was. He's the one that doesn't have the good senses, that God gave, Billy Goat, in my opinion. When I listened to the whole entire interview, I did personally listen to it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like him. It wasn't well taken. He's trying to go against the flow. He's trying to be that person. I think he's trying to find a way to be that person on the stand, to be involved in this case as a witness for Bryan Kohberger, for whatever reason. I don't know. And I'd hate to, assume something that's not really in somebody's heart, but this whole thing, like the way he talked, how cocky he was throughout this entire interview, it just didn't ring true to me. It just fell on deaf ears for me, just personally speaking, just from me to you. I mean, it's just what I'd like to say about that. And here's some more information that we're learning that we went over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And it's, again, related to the search warrant, and it's like Reddit search warrant, Bryan Kohberger. And again, this was after we were on here, as you see, 5:30 p.m. on the 2nd. They're breaking down this, and it says the information obtained was ordered and sealed for a reason. They found something. And this whole Reddit thing, when we went over it, I said, there's a lot of stuff that's in this that really makes me wonder, what they found, because they're ultra specific. And not only that, this one, even though this is related to the account of Bryan Kohberger, and they have several different, several redacted areas here, that are in this whole thing that we're wondering. But it definitely says for Bryan Kohberger. Here's Bryan Kohberger's name right there. See it? So it's for the Reddit account of Bryan Kohberger. And it has blank and blank and blank and phone number and or IME number, right? So we have several different things here that they're asking to find out. And it's all about user create information, such as information collected on user Reddit name. We went all through this on our live very extensively. And here we even said on our live, it seems to me that they're fishing for something. They have an idea of what they're looking for, and now they're looking for it. And this Reddit, it always keeps bringing back. I agree, Mike. Bryan is no looker, but this guy on this interview is like thinking he's like macho man, macho man. Bryan Kohberger wants to be your macho man. macho man. I need to stop. I'm going to get myself in trouble this morning. Happy Monday. So it's just funny because we talk about this stuff, and then to hear, an FBI agent kind of reiterate everything that we were saying. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. It makes you realize you're on the right track. You're researching it this right. You have a good understanding of what you're talking about. And that is really what kind of butters my bread, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes you feel good when you're doing good and you're explaining all of this the right way. And here's some more stuff that I wanted you to hear.
Criminal defense attorney.
Let me see if we can get this up. There we go. I want you to hear this. It's a lot of what we've had to say.
Sarah Azari, RHU ladies, you're perfect for this. I'm going to start with you, Jennifer, because you're the investigator here. But Sarah, I'm going to put you to the test afterwards. What did you see? Just overall, it's a lot of reading, but did something stand out to you?
Well, overall, I was very happy to see that they are put out a search warrant for the Strava information. I've always thought that was very important.
Strava. We went over the Strava. Remember how we were talking? We were talking about how interesting that search warrant was and what plethora of information it will garner about Bryan Kohberger. And here she is talking about the very exact same thing. Again, after the Bullhorn Betty channel, this just goes to show you we're not stupid. We have a good understanding of what is going on, what we're reading, and what we are telling our audience.
Because he's a runner, I think it's also important because the prosecution is going to have to show or want to show that the person who committed this crime is in good shape, good physical shape to commit these heinous acts that require a lot of physical ability. So that stood out. The June 23rd date certainly stood out.
Remember, we talked about June 23rd to August 1st, and we thought, wow, that's a weird date. Why didn't it go all the way back? We talked about all of these things, and here we have the FBI agent, a former FBI agent, picking up on the same stuff.
Because they've already gotten search warrant information from the time in August backwards. But why did they feel the need to do these search warrants for not only Snap, but simultaneous AT&T to the 23rd? It stands out. They found something. They want to corroborate it.
There you go. They found something and they want to corroborate it. That's what her analysis is. Again, lots of good stuff coming out.
And what about the whole August 1st? Nothing to see past then. That was weird to me. There were still several months.
We talked about that.
Well, I believe that those documents were in another document display that we saw early on that included those dates, as I recall.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Again, however many terabytes, I can't keep it straight.
51 so far, right, 51 terabytes.
Sarah, I always feel weird when I see requests for the digital footprint of victims, and in this case, victims and the housemates. And I should be really clear that this was like prosecution. This is investigators. This isn't the defense, right? This is the prosecutors asking for all of the communications of the victims. So walk me through what they're looking for. Are they trying to troubleshoot, deflect what the defense might bring at them? Or are they looking through any portal they can to find motive?
So lots of good stuff. Let me see what else we got. I know we got, I don't want to go over that just yet. Let me move this down here so we know where it's at. That's also, we got a lot of other stuff going on right now, and it's a little scary, but I've got to find the stuff that we're working on it. All right, here we go. Here's some more on the Snapchat. So wanted to hear this.
And August 1st. Why those dates? They were murdered on November 13th. Why June 23 and August 1st? That's curious. They wanted all communications, locations data, user content, communications between other accounts and third parties, and if any accounts had been suspended. That's curious as well. From TikTok, the authorities had warrants that looked at Bryan Kohberger's account from June 1st straight on. No end date. June 1st onward. They wanted, quote, everything. They wanted all content, location data, anything he deleted, the people he followed and unfollowed.
Again, a lot of the stuff that we went over here, this was coming out hours after we had discussed this particular case. And there's a few other stuff. Let's see what else we got here.
Housemates between June 23 and August 1st. Why those dates? They were murdered on November 13th. They wanted all communications, locations data, user content, communications between other accounts and third parties, and if any accounts had been suspended. That's curious as well. From TikTok, the authorities had warrants that looked at Bryan Kohberger's account from June 1st straight on. No end date. June 1st onward. They wanted, quote, everything. They wanted all content, location data, anything he deleted, the people he followed and unfollowed, the people he blocked.
Yep, the people he blocked. We went over all of that. And lastly, all right, so now we're going to open up the phone lines just a little bit. It has been a good topic of conversation so far. I mean, we're getting a lot of the stuff right. And I tell you guys all the time, you know, when we get into these cases, we analyze them very, very well, very thoroughly. I have no problems killing trees to print this stuff out so I can make notes, highlight, and stuff like that. Digital evidence likely solved this. Absolutely. And many of you know that's been one of the cornerstones of what I've been talking about here, you know, when especially, and I've been talking about it early on in this investigation, that when everybody kept saying that, you know, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk are going to be the star of this case. And I kept saying, no, they're not going to be the star of the case. The star of this case, this high profile case, are going to be the expert witnesses. It's going to be that forensic digital data footprint that's out there for Bryan Kohberger, as well as the kids, the victims of this crime. That's going to be the star of the show. And I also talked about the DNA evidence. The DNA evidence is literally one sprinkle on top of this sundae, one sprinkle of many sprinkles. It's not, if they took that DNA evidence away, they would still be able to get a conviction based on the forensic data. We have to remember this is beyond a reasonable doubt, but your circumstantial evidence and your direct evidence are treated exactly the same in the court of law. I hear all the time, oh, it's just a circumstantial case. Folks, circumstantial evidence is graded as the same evidence as direct evidence, i.e. seeing the person with the gun in their hand shooting it is the same as saying we heard a gunshot and saw this person running from the scene. It's the same evidence. It's weighted exactly the same. It's weighted exactly the same. Sorry, guys. Always takes me just a little bit of time. There we go. All right, the phone lines are open. If you would like to call in and discuss this, I think I think the chat, I'm not sure how the chat feels, and maybe this is the talking point that we need to have. So I'm not sure. Oh, let me get it over here on this one. There we go. So you guys can hear if the phone rings. So in this chat, I think the majority of us believe that Bryan Kohberger never made contact with BTK. I still believe, I'm not sure what the sentiments of my audience is, but I still believe that he attempted to. And I think that's what the crux of that Sun report was, is there a connection? Did he attempt to call? And not only that, I still believe he wrote BTK. If he attempted to make contact through his, say his professor, I believe that he would have wrote a letter to him under an anonymous name instead of signing it Bryan C. Kohberger. So I would definitely venture to say that Bryan Kohberger may have reached out to him. Now, I do believe BTK's daughter, when she says that she doesn't believe that her father is responsible for the 1996 cheerleader murder or the 1990 murder of the one other lady. I can't remember her name, and I apologize about that. But I do not believe that he's responsible because, again, his daughter was very specific as to why she didn't believe he was responsible. This doesn't follow his MO. And his MO is basically stalking, breaking in, grabbing trophies. There's a lot of things that go along with the crime with BTK before he ever kills his victims. There's a lot of other, stuff that he does. So she's saying lack of that's his calling card. And in short, if he doesn't have that calling card, it most likely isn't him. So we have to agree that is the possibility. He's not responding. He could be. I don't believe BTK has come forward and told law enforcement, everybody, that he's killed. I truly just don't believe it. I see Turkey Man in the house. Hopefully you got my text message because I have your video ready. I have your video ready. I just haven't, I don't have a way of getting it to you. So if you'd like to give me, your email, I'm happy to get it over. The video's done. Monday's video is done. Monday video is done. So I got up this morning. I know you only asked for like a minute and 30 seconds. You got 7.5 minutes. Take what you will out of it. You don't have to use the whole thing, but you can cut and take what you want out of it. So, Allie, about the letters, where's Allie? Let me go over here and start reading some. If you guys have questions and you don't want to call in, now's the time to put them in the chat. Now I'm looking at the chat, reviewing. When I'm talking to you guys and covering all this and reading stuff, I can't possibly look at the chat. But when I stop, when I turn the phones on, this is the perfect time for you to start putting in your questions. Well, good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How you doing, Miss Betty?
I am fabulous. It's a wonderful Monday morning. I feel like I got a lot of stuff done over the weekend. I feel really good. I'm happy. I woke up happy.
Well, that's a good thing. I've had 2 cups of coffee. I just got up this morning. I've got cobwebs in my head. You know how that is when you just get up.
Yep.
What happened to last night? We had last night. Our daughter was in the local voice competition finals.
Oh, nice.
And so we had her in-laws from Florida come up, and we had a bunch. And of course, we had church yesterday morning, and it's been a busy. And I'm just, like I say, I'm just trying to get woke up. But I seen you just got up, plugged you in, and got your message, and I'll get with you here in a little bit and get the information to you. I know you're busy, and so it's hard to make connection. But I was going to try to answer the question there, what I know about Bryan Kohberger, or try to ask you a question rather. I know that the DNA is everything about DNA anymore. Seems like it is anyhow. But it's a puzzlement to me that he left that sheath And the reason I say that, a sheath is something that you carry on you as a means of carrying it. Use your hands free.
Right.
I do not understand why it was just left, because that's what a sheath is for,
Right.
is to carry it to and from, and especially in a fixed blade. And that's always been a puzzlement to me, why the sheath was left, why it wasn't attached to him, why he wasn't carrying it to and from. I could see him leaving the knife. I could see that get dropped.
Right.
Sheath in itself.
But the sheath was laying next to, like, it just seems to me he's so meticulous. If he wasn't intending to leave it there, let's talk about it. He wouldn't have walked in the house holding the sheath next to his chest with the knife. I mean, he would have taken, if he wanted to walk in with the knife, he would have taken it out of the sheath in the car. Now, if he had it like in between his pants and his belly, to hide it, to conceal it when he was making entry into the house and didn't want to stab himself, I can understand him having the sheath on him, because we don't know if he was wearing a belt. Why was the sheath not on the belt? But I have to think that it was, he obscured the sheath, the knife, when he was going into the house, because he didn't know what he was going to be running into. But even when he took that out, you would have thought the sheath would have either been left in his pants, in his back pocket. Why would he lay it down next to the side leg of the victim? It just doesn't bode well when I'm looking at this. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, when things just don't line up for me, there's some reason why. I mean, it just don't, 2 and 2 doesn't add up for me on that. And and if you handled it, where was how come just one place inside the snap or on the snap, only place that there was any evidence that he touched it?
Right.
And I mean, that would have been blood evidence. That would have been. It does not add up to me, and I don't.
I mean, think about it. Even just the carrying of that sheath, carrying it. Think about it. Carrying it in your hands, putting it in your back pocket. You're going to have transfer DNA. Nothing was on there. There was one speck of DNA that tells me the sheath was cleaned.
Right. And that don't add up. I don't. I mean, I could see that if I was buying a knife or selling a knife or looking at a knife in a yard sale, or going to a knife and works place that sells knives, and let me look at that product right there. I open it up, I look at it, I will snap it back and I give it back to them or whatever, or buy it. Putting ammunition in a firearm, you put it either in a clip or in the cylinder. I could see that transfer of loading it. This does not add up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying he's innocent, guilty, or anything, but it does not add up. And why that?
Right.
It just don't. On that other, I'm gonna get my buddy there, Travis, to send information, because he does all the breaking down of the film and all, and so I'll get with him a little later. But I don't know. I just don't. I know that you've got people in there that would want to get in to talk to you about this, but 2 and 2 don't add up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. This doesn't add up. Now, let me ask you this. Now, with everything we've learned about Bryan Kohberger, through this journey, from the time we learned of this quadruple homicide in the small community of Moscow, Idaho, to learning who Bryan Kohberger is, and then finding out that he worked under the famed book author, Catherine Ramsland. Do you think that it is possible that he was curious enough to make at least an attempt to reach out to BTK?
I would think that he would be, I would, like yourself. I'd reach out to somebody I know or that I've run into to ask them information on, like doing what we're doing now. I reached out to you because you gather information. You gather information on how you doing, what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It may be just out of information for yourself or whatever, but that's human nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think if yeah, I think you would. I think you would reach out.
He would too. And if his teacher told him, no, I don't feel comfortable reaching out to him, Bryan would have probably went around his teacher because he would have been smarter than his teacher. That's his mentality.
Exactly.
And he would have run around, but he would have been sneaky enough to say, I don't want to piss my professor off, so I'm going to say my name's Michael Smith.
Right.
Yeah,
I believe that he probably did.
I think he was curious. I think he was genuinely curious at that time. I don't think he had anticipated. I think there was something between his high school and his Ramsland, but there was something that triggered him that made him curious about these serial killers that inspired him to be intrigued and interested in them and their mentality, so much so that he learned about it.
Well, the clip you showed about him and his dad on a road trip, they got stopped, and the dad's in passenger side. Just that little bit of clip to me. What this old saying is that 80% of our communication with one another is nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
Just the picture or the picture's worth 1,000 words. Just that visual
mm-hmm.
and that encounter, it didn't add up. It smelt more to it than what meets the eye. Because the dad didn't seem like he was playing full deck to me, really. But just in the encounter, and you just don't spend time knowing that there's not something going on with your son.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's more there. This whole thing adds up to just a bestseller. I mean, really, it does. Because,
yeah, and I was talking to a friend that I was out, with Gabby Petito, and she's dropping some older stuff for Gabby Petito, and I'm thinking, that was one of the best sellers. Like I still have content from Gabby Petito that's never come out. I'm almost considering writing a book about it and putting some of the clips, the photos and stuff that I have. So we'll see if I am inspired to do that.
Well, each one of us has a gift that we contribute in a way of, and I feel somewhat like I was talking to you about what we're planning on doing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to take, like you got, like what you do. I like to feature you and what you do. Different individuals, they're what they do, because each one of us has a story to tell.
Oh yeah.
And so that's that in itself, but something that I guess that we talked about as far as T-car for myself. I look at things differently than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
He gets amused that he'll say, he asked me about, I'll give you, for instance, he was telling me, he said, so-and-so, he sent me a song, he said somebody wrote. Well, it was a computer thing that he sent through that wrote a song about us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought, he said, a buddy wrote it. Because I said, who is artificial, whatever it is, he said, that wrote the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, who are they? Like there was a group or somebody wrote the song. and I reckon that there's a computer you can send in, and it'll write a song, it'll print for you, it'll make a manuscript for you or whatever. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. He wrote that song for you. I said, a little long, but it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
And he got so tickled at me thinking that and not knowing what it was. I didn't know that term of I can't even think it was artificial something, a computer. In other words, you say, write me a song, and this computer program writes it for you.
I like that. I don't know if many people know, but I'm actually a singer. I sing.
Yeah. So I'm like, you remember, who Will Rogers is?
Will Rogers.
Okay. It's For Your Time.
Yeah.
Will Rogers back in the 40s, late 40s. He was really 49 or something like that. But he would take newspaper clippings, and somebody would ask him about politics or whatever. He had one-liners, kind of like Yogi Berra that played for the Yankees. He was a catcher. He had one-liners, and those one-liners become famous because he had his own spin on things. Well, I think we all have our own spin on things in different ways, but that's kind of me. I mean, I look at things like, I don't know what that is. I had a friend of mine one time, and I don't know, I'm rambling, and I don't mean to do that, but that being said, they call an athlete or somebody good at what they do a GOAT. Well, I'm being a big Tennessee fan and Peyton Manning, and so they was calling him GOAT when I first got on Twitter in 2016. I didn't even know how to use a computer, but I got on Twitter on a laptop. I learned how to do that just by my daughter showing me a few things, and I didn't know how to open a computer. I didn't know how to use it. Well, I was following Twitter, and I was following the Super Bowl at that time, and because it was early in January, and they was calling on Twitter. They was calling Peyton a GOAT. I didn't know what that was. I thought they was bad mouthing. I got upset about it.
That was a good thing.
And I didn't know it meant greatest of all time. I thought they was calling him a GOAT. So that's how I look at things. I look at things I don't understand. And so, yes, there's a lot of things I'm learning, a lot of terms I'm learning. And I look at, and that's the thing we're planning on doing with a weekly news clip. One of the things is, you take a headline, I don't understand. I know it does not compute in my head what that is, but we all have something to give and we went around the barn. I know I've chased rabbit here around the barn. Okay. Back to Kohberger. It don't make sense to me why he left his knife sheath. It's a sheath knife. Why you would not have it attached to you? That's what a country boy has. He has it put on his side. It don't compute. They go hand in hand. But I don't know. I've kind of rambled for him, but that's what I do sometimes. I just get half a cup of coffee. And but I just seen that you had opened up, and I wanted to give you a shout because my week would not be the same if I didn't get to say 2 or 3 words.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your command, and God bless you.
God bless you.
Email.
See you now. Bye-bye.
God bless. So I wanted to do this, and I know that this is going to be a little off topic, and I know that we get hate for political reasons whenever Bullhorn Betty brings up any politics or anything like that. But you know what? I have a lot of good friends. I got a lot of great friends that are very impactful in this country, and one of my friends that I have, literally traveled pretty much the United States with, 4G Auto Blow. He's got a lot of stuff going on. It's surprising. So I came across this video. I'm not going to make you guys watch this. I'm not going to make you guys watch this too much, but I do want to show you guys just a little bit about this. I wanted to show you. Hold on, where is it? They talk about his count on his. There it is, right there. Many of you don't know. My friend is a superstar, right? That's him, Forgiato Blow. Forgiato Blow. I have, I don't know, umpteen million pictures with this man. You know, a lot of the events I go to, he goes to. Just a really, and not only that, but he's really a laid back guy. He really is. He's very disciplined. He is he wakes up every day trying to do better. He has a way of representing, but this is not the reason why I've got him up on the screen. I got him up on the screen because of his count.
Rapper. He's also the #1 artist in America right now.
My friend is the #1 artist in America right now. That is absolutely right. Forgiato Blow, God bless you, my friend. Congratulations. I know that it has been very hard. I understand what this man has gone through. I understand the hate that he has gone through. And I have watched this man rise above all the noise and continue to be true to himself and to do what he does. And what an amazing thing. Forgiato, #1 in the United States. Give it up for my friend. For my friend. So
his song Boycott Target is the top of the charts, #1 song in all categories. He's beating Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, and Taylor Swift in the chart.
Boom, bitches! Boom! Just when you think the haters got it, they don't know nothing, right? So as we continue to get bigger and badder and continue to advocate the way we choose to advocate, I anticipate more and more hate, but you can't fake the numbers. You can't fake the numbers. God bless you, Forgiato. Keep being you, keep doing, keep being true to yourself, and keep rocking us out the only way Forgiato knows how. God bless you, my friend. Great, great, great. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of him. Many of you know, I was at CPAC with him and the rest of my crew. And so I'm going to continue doing the things I do, whether people like it or not, whether some of the people in my audience, I know that I don't really bring politics in here unless it's advocating for the children. And I do that for a reason, because I like to be inclusive on this channel. And in politics, you know, I do believe in our design. So I actually believe that both parts, you know, Democrats and Republicans all have a place here, you know, even the independents, it's all part of our democracy. So I don't ever disrespect people for the way, who they support and why they support that person. I never have, I never will, but I don't want people doing that to me either. The reason why I don't ever attack people over there, I attack the policies, I attack the positions, but I never attack the people, because unless it's like the hierarchy of just disgusting, and then I don't like them. But for the most part, it's because I don't like, I think it's all part of our country. I believe in our country and I want our country to flourish. So if this is part of the design, why would I be knocking it, right? I believe in it. So I love all the people. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're Democrat, Independent, or Republican. I don't care. I could care less. All I ever try to do is tell you that you have a voice, and whatever your leanings are, be that voice for that leaning. Don't be silent. You know, you don't have to be. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or Independent. I don't care if you're for or against something I'm for or against. All I inspire people to do is use their voice and stand up for what you believe in. It doesn't matter whether it bodes with my ideology or not. Stand up for what you believe in. Inspire that in people, and that's what I try to always do. I'm very thankful that I've got great friends. I'm very thankful that we all work very hard to be successful in what we do. And I'm very glad and proud of all the people that are that have discipline, and they're tenacious, and they go out and seek their dreams. They don't complain about all the things that are against them. They go out and accomplish what they choose to accomplish, because anybody, it doesn't matter what your religion is, doesn't matter what color your skin is, doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, or anything else. If you want to achieve it, you can achieve it. All you have to do is work hard for it, just like everybody else. And when you realize that we're all in the same boat, nobody gets a hand up just because of the color of their skin or how they choose to pray. When you remove that from your mind, you're unstoppable. When you realize that the only person holding you back is yourself, you can be unstoppable. You can be unstoppable. And it just goes to show you, my friend Forgiato Blow has raised the roof. So again, Forgiato, you're doing a great job. Keep doing it and keep being you. So love it, love it, love it. I just thought when I heard he was above Taylor Swift, I'm just like, you go with your bad self. You go with your bad self. Okay, so that was a lot of good stuff. I'm really thankful that we had that. Oh, I guess I turned my ringers off. I'm glad we had that. But now we're going to get on to some of the other stuff that we were talking about. Many of you guys know that I covered this case. It was a real weird case out of Missouri, and actually went into, why is it? Did I look? I must have hit something and lost my my share screen option. There we go. So Missouri doctor's death being investigated as a homicide. You guys know that we did a video on this doctor. If you guys don't know about the video that we did on the doctor, I'm just going to pop it up real quick just for you guys to see it just a little bit. We're not going to go through too much of it. But it was a really weird case. This is 12 minutes.
County Sheriff's Office said, no further. I was doing some.
So here it is right there. So there he is. Let me see if I can just get a better picture of him. If I can roll it up. Yeah, there. It keeps seeming like I cut his head off. There he is, right there. So there's the doctor. He was in Missouri, and they found him in a lake in Arkansas. Oh, thank you, Lulu's. Thank you so much. God bless you. So long story short, this doctor, you know, people were saying that they believe it might have possibly been a suicide. It didn't sound like an unalive attempt. The man's body was found with a gunshot wound in a reservoir many miles from his home. If he was going to do that, he would have done that inside his home. You're talking about a dedicated man that had 8 children and never missed a day of work in 15 years. And so nothing in here it appeared or felt like he unalived himself, that life just got too stressed out and he just went out to Arkansas and boom, he's gone. This didn't bode well. And then we hear from his brother that he was actually kidnapped in February 2022 and released. So I don't know if he borrowed money from a shark, if he, him being a doctor, if he got like a cartel made him fix up or suture one of his friends up, or maybe there was a court case going on that somebody could have been losing, or if he was a victim of a crime or witness of a crime. But this seems so cartel-y, where he was, and then he's just met this beautiful lady. He's about to get married, and she was the last one that talked to him. So there's a lot of weird things going on in his life that we didn't know about at the beginning of this case, that we're learning about from his family. And it's just really starting to really feel like mob and mafia type. It's giving that vibe to me, like a mob mafia type vibe. Now, that's just my opinion. We're lacking a lot of facts in this case. So we're really working off conjecture as we're putting this case together, and we're trying to, get some additional information related to his case. But so far, all we have is a dead doctor that's in a different state, and it's a classic whodunit. And then we learn that there was a kidnapping. that was unreported back in the beginning of 2022. So there was something going on in this man's life, and we don't know what it was. Could it have been a huge, there could be drug deals, substance abuse, there could be, there's a number of things that could be going on, here in this doctor's life, but it has to be significant to the point where somebody killed him. So it said gunshot wound. It didn't say gunshots. It didn't say 15 bullets in his body where it's personal and overkill and things of that nature. So I'm really paying attention to this. I'm looking at all the key information in this case. And we had it right at the beginning. I said, this does not smell like a suicide. This absolutely smells like a homicide. And it looks like it's being taken as a homicide. It's being investigated as a homicide. Now we have 2 states involved. We have Missouri as well as Arkansas. And I think Missouri is going to be the one that potentially Missouri will be the one that handles the investigation, because it's most likely that he was either kidnapped or killed in Missouri and dumped in Arkansas. So we're waiting for that information to come out related to his case. But just a sad case. And we have to remember that he had 8 children. So there's 8 children that are missing their father. Here's something coming out of News Nation I thought was also something that we need to take into consideration. They're finding at our Mexican border, there are 45 bags containing human remains for searching for several missing people. And this is a true issue we're having at the southern border. And I just want people to be aware that there's a lot of missing people. This is not a joke. People think that the reason why I don't personally want an open border is because somehow I'm racist. That's the reason why I don't want an open border into this country, that I'm somehow racist, even though half my family is Mexican and came over here legally. I'm a racist. So whatever, I really don't care what label they put on me. The bottom line is the reason why I don't like our borders open is because of this nonsense right here. They're abusing the system. They're abusing these children. They're abusing these women. They're making them come to this country and do things they should not be doing with their bodies. And then when they fail to do that, they wind up in garbage bags. That's why I don't want our open border, because we have no idea who's coming into our country. We have no idea what kind of abuse, or if they're being forced into our country. These people are becoming these slaves, right? As slaves here in our country because of that open border. And I'm sorry, I don't want women and children subjecting themselves or their bodies in that. So call me a racist all you want. I really don't care. I really don't. I want the border closed because I'm sick of the drugs and I'm sick of what they're doing to these children and women. That's why I want the borders closed. That's it. We need to know who's coming into this country. I'm sick of MS-13 being here. I'm sick of the cartels being here. And I'm sick of watching people's children dying on the streets because of the drugs. So call me. Call me racist. If racist means I don't want things happening to children and women, then I'm a racist. If racist means I'm sick and tired of watching our children getting killed because of the drugs coming across that border, I'm a racist. Call me whatever you need to call me. Call me whatever you need to call me. I don't care. I don't care. Here in 45 bags of human remains. Seriously? If that doesn't make you want to close the border, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. But call me a racist. Another thing, which really upsets me here on the streets of YouTube, is we have all these people out there on YouTube that are complaining about, why doesn't Betty cover this case, or why doesn't Betty cover that case? These are people that are saying nobody covers indigenous women, right? Nobody covers Black women. Nobody, you know what? The people that are screaming that, they don't even cover the cases either. They don't even cover the cases either, which is really sad. Must have sparked somebody. Let me turn that off. I'm in the middle of something. Must have sparked somebody's frustration. I don't know. You might have been a friend, might have been a friend or fellow But when I start saying racist and the phone starts ringing up, we know it's most likely a hater, but it might not be. It might not be. Let's listen to this.
The challenges they face. Lakeisha, I appreciate you being with us this morning. And I know part of your story and your mission stems from your own family's personal experience and the death of your sister, Brittany Clardy. Tell me about her case and what happened.
Thank you, Marnie, for having me on today. My sister, Brittany Clardy, was murdered in 2013. But when she first went missing, we had no idea what was going on, but we knew something was wrong. When we reached out to the police department and they asked us about her demographics, and once they found out she had turned 18, they said, oh, she's probably ran away with her boyfriend.
And I'm so sick of law enforcement saying that. Let me tell you guys something. Here, just for your knowledge, there is no set limit of somebody missing. You don't, and I don't care. If you know something's wrong, you go there. You know what? You don't leave that police station. You raise hell, right? Who cares? Who cares? What do you have to lose? You don't tell me that I have to wait 72 hours because I know something's wrong with my loved one. You need to get off your butt and do something about it. And when they say there's nothing you can do, you sit there until they can. And if they say, well, we can't speak to you, you go up the supervisor. I don't care what you do. When you know something is wrong, you do not listen to law enforcement. They will blow you off if they can. They have to deal with hundreds and hundreds of missing persons and people that run away on a daily basis. When you know your family member is not one of them, you demand their attention. You demand their attention. And if they don't want to listen, you know what you do? You go up to Walmart. Here, this is a trick. You go up to Walmart, you spend $15 for a Bullhorn, you spend $15 for the 4 batteries that need to go in the Bullhorn, and you go out in the front of that police station and you let your voice be heard. That's what you do. That's what you do. But it's upsetting to me because everybody that's on here talking about how nobody covers indigenous people or are people of color, even the people complaining about that aren't covering these cases. They're not covering this case because this is the first time I've heard about this case. And it's sad. And you are right, Vape King. For the first 48 hours are the most critical and crucial in any missing person cases. That's why I said you don't go home and wait 72 hours. If you know something is wrong with your loved one and they did not simply run away, you make them listen. And if you can't make them listen, call Bullhorn Betty. Right? Call Bullhorn Betty, right? I'll make them listen. I make them listen to a fault. I make them listen so much we have hate channels that hate how I make people listen. But let's listen to this person's case.
She should be back. They do this all the time. But we were the experts on our family. We knew something was wrong.
And as I look at some of these statistics, Lakeisha, it is shocking, but it's reality that Black women are nearly 3 times more likely to be murdered than white women in the state of Minnesota. Black women make up 7% of Minnesota's population, but 40% are victims of domestic violence. What have you learned through this process, establishing this organization, about the challenges?
I can tell you, if you are a Black woman and you're allowing yourself to be hit, you need to walk out the door. Nobody deserves to go through it. Nobody. Nobody deserves to feel less than they are. Every person is beautiful. Every person has a right to live, and every person has a right to live obstructed of pain.
That families face in getting attention paid to these important and urgent cases.
Legal and policy frameworks refer to women and girls, and sometimes fail to account for the experiences and barriers that Black women and girls face in society. You know, the office is not.
To me, that is the bigger topic, is what they're facing in society. Here's the issue for me is, you know, like a Black person has no idea what it's like to be a white person. A white person has no idea to what it's like to be a Black person. I would think that in 2023, you know, statistics are statistics. You can't change that. And, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I would hope that in 2023, all states treat all victims the same. That is what my hope would be in 2023. If that's not happening, then I can tell you here in Florida, there's a lot of people that scream, this is not right. This is not right. Whatever. Okay. But at the end of the day, most of these people have committed the crimes. Okay. You can't make this stuff up. Like there's not 1,000 innocent people imprisoned right now. They've done something. They're there. They went through court. They were found guilty. Okay. Nobody's making people of a certain skin color do certain crimes. Nobody's forcing that. That they're doing all on their own. So again, I'm not understanding this, but I do know in my own personal experience with Kathleen Moore that this is true. That Black people are not getting enough attention, especially when they go missing. They're not getting attention and the necessary resources up front. That I've experienced myself. So I have to agree that this is becoming a problem. And not only that, but when we are on here and we are watching mainstream media, how often do we see Black people being brought up in their normal, ordinary business? We don't. So there is an issue here. It is, undeniable that there is some kind of grading, if you will, by mainstream media on what cases are covered. And could it be based upon color? I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if it's a problem. That's up to each and every one of you to decide. But what I can say is that I personally have experienced it. I've talked to you guys about it. I told you I called KJB a racist and Spectrum News racist, Bay News 9 racist, because nobody was covering Kathleen Moore, and within an hour and a half, somebody was out there covering her case. So, I'm kind of mixed on this whole thing, but it's just the whole purpose of me bringing that particular article up is because we get hated on so much here. And here it is, you look at all these channels and nobody's covering this case. Nobody. So I would really like to see them covering the case. If they're going to be complaining about people not covering cases, why aren't they covering them? You have a platform too. Don't forget that. Instead of beating up Bullhorn Betty, maybe advocate for people of color. Just saying. It might be more beneficial. It might help the cause a little bit more. Just a thought. Here's another one, and this is kind of going down. We're just going down a bunch of other stuff because we're done with our Bryan Kohberger segment. But 5 suspected cartel members arrested in Texas. So this is the problem we're having in the southern border. Again, not making it a political, standing on the political hill here, but this is crime. We cover true crime. This is something we have to discuss. 5 suspected cartel members arrested in Texas. Southern border apprehensions have slowed, but the numbers remain high. News Nation, again, let's see what they have to say.
And cartel members.
Pandemic era restriction known as Title 42 last month is not stopping migrants or the cartels. Take a look at these numbers. Apprehensions at the border have gone down a lot, but there still have been over 3,000 in the last week. This as 5 members of a Mexican drug cartel were arrested trying to enter the U.S. illegally, some of them armed with rifles and tactical gear.
That, to me, is scary. Scary. And they're coming to a neighborhood in a community near you. I am a true crime channel. I advocate for victims. There is no way in God's half acre that I would be okay with an open border and cartel members coming into my country, which will ultimately kill someone and ultimately wind up on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I'm one of those people that like to cut the snake off at the head. so we don't even get there. I'm an ounce of prevention type of gal. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, we're dealing with a pound of cure now because nobody took the ounce of prevention. And it's getting scary. And at the end of the day, this is our families that are being affected. This is our families being affected. This is our country being affected. These are our children being targeted. Getting over to Florida. Homemade bomb in Florida, found in Florida neighborhood. Scary stuff. Crystal River, Florida. Resident of one Florida neighborhood were asked to avoid the area on Saturday while deputies disabled a homemade explosive device. Citrus County Sheriff's Office, in a Facebook post, deputies urge residents to stay away from the area northeast 10th Street in Crystal River. The Sheriff's Office sent out an alert saying deputies blocked off the road around 12:45 p.m., just a little after lunch. Deputies responded to a call about a suspicious device. A photo provided the Sheriff's Office showed what appeared to be a box with a lid on it sitting near a mailbox at the end of a driveway. The suspicious item was confirmed to be a homemade explosive device. Again, scary stuff going on in our world today. So guys, I just want to thank you all that decided to come and join me this morning, this Monday morning. I appreciate your 2 hours of dedication to the Bullhorn Betty channel. I hope this was informative. If you found that this live was informative and you would like to become a subscriber, go up there and click the subscription button and change your bell to all so you don't miss any notifications from the Bullhorn Betty channel. We do a lot of stuff. We do lives, we do posts, we do videos. We have a Facebook group, the Bullhorn Betty True Crime Facebook group. It's a very good group. A lot of information is posted in there. A lot of updates are posted in there. You may want to become a member or subscribe to that channel. We do a thorough background check for the people that come into our Facebook group. So you are and can be assured that you're around respectable people. We work very hard, the mods work very hard to make sure that this chat is, user-friendly for all the people, where you guys can say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. We have rules here on the Bullhorn Betty channel and for our chat. We don't care what you say. We don't care how you say it, as long as you say it nice, right? We don't want you being disrespectful to other audience members, other creators, and we don't want our other creators or audience members being disrespectful to you. But believe me, you want to be kind. You can say, Betty, you don't know what you're talking about. And that's okay. You call me an effing idiot, you're probably going to be blocked, right? So it's how you say it. If you want to say what you mean what you say, you can say whatever you want in this channel. Just don't be a jerk. That's the rules. If you find that you want to do a little more for the Bullhorn Betty channel, we are constantly traveling around the country to cover true crime. So you can always donate money to our Venmo, CashApp, or PayPal accounts. We have thank you gifts from our Amazon wish list if you'd like to do that, or you can just become a member of the show. And that's just going to the membership link and deciding what of the 4 levels you would like to help the show with. And for those that just want to help, you can do that just by watching our videos and watching the commercials. That helps expand this channel. So I want to thank everyone that is a channel supporter. And as we move into our close, I do want to thank the audience members that were a part of this show for this segment. And we have Dixie Kentucky Girl, 7 months membership. She says, good morning, Betty and mods and the coffee club. Well, God bless you. 7 months for Michelle as well. She says, hello. Julie, thank you. Oh my goodness. Wow, you gifted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received a Bullhorn Betty membership this morning, please don't forget to go out and thank Julie for your membership. Southern Grammy Wolf became, I call BS, became the newest member of the Coffee Club. She's been a member here for a while. You're such a blessing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Forgiato, thank you for the prayers. Yes, Forgiato is awesome. And what a great person. I just couldn't believe he's number one on the charts. And I couldn't be prouder of him. I really couldn't. Lula's hype with the whoop, whoop, whoop. Thank you. It's nice to see you. Jennifer with the unicorn. Inside joke. Only she knows about the unicorn. Cynthia, thank you so much. You are a blessing, and so are each and every one of you. So thank you to all of the channel sponsors for this show, for this segment. I do appreciate it. God bless each and every one of you. Go make your week rock out. Today is the beginning, and it can be anything you want it to be this week. So go out and make it the absolute best for you. And before we go, I always like to have some inspiration. I don't do this during the show, but in light of it being Monday and it being such a great day and us being able to start over and just have a fresh start and really gearing up to start the second half of the year is an amazing to do. So I want a word from this character right here. I know him personally as well, but I love his messaging.
I have a question for you. If you woke up this Friday morning and you looked in your bank account and there was $10,080 magically there, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But the only stipulation is you have to spend it all in 1 week and it'll be gone. And then the following week, you'll get another $10,080 deposited, and so on and so on. You can spend it however you want. Or if you don't spend it, it disappears. Would you spend every cent every week, or would you allow it to be wasted and taken away from you? Well, guys, this Friday, you're going to wake up and there's going to be 10,080 minutes that God has given you for the next week. And you can spend them however you want, or you can simply waste them. Guys, I highly suggest that you spend every minute of next week doing amazing things, and don't allow 1 minute to be squandered, because you never know when God won't deposit another 10,080 minutes in your life, guys. Go out and live a great life.
So there you have it. That is another friend. A lot of people that I hang out with just have a great look on life, and I hope that rubs off on my audience. So guys, thanks again. It's been a great day. Happy Monday. Go make it the best week possible for you and your family. And guys, don't forget, be kind to one another. An act of kindness for a perfect stranger is a great way to get some great karma banked up for you. So please consider doing an act of kindness for a perfect stranger. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, be safe and kind to one another.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.